Good evening, good evening. My name is Dr. Bernard Short, and this is Music Fundamentals. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, to just give you a general understanding of what's going on, you get into my classroom. You go to the bulletin board here. You scroll all the way down, and you have your welcome. Um, Basically welcome you guys to the class, telling you what we're going to be dealing with. Here's my contact information. The class meeting time will be from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. It will be either on a Zoom link that I will send out to you, or it will either be on a Microsoft Teams link that I will send out to you. Um, each module set up to cover 2 weeks worth of information. Um, we will go into that in a second. You have the course student learning outcomes here. You know, you can read that and understand exactly what we're going for, what you will be able to do once you are finished with my class. Also, here's your learning outcome. What are the different tests and things that we're gonna have? We're gonna have 5 assignments on 100 points each. Two are gonna be handwritten tests. Two are gonna be music analysis, and your final project you will be composing a piece from scratch. Um, the necessary book, or actually your syllabus is located here on the syllabus page. You can scroll down and you can see everything that you need to see as far as the syllabus is concerned here. Um, Now, the book that you need is required for this class, The Elements of Music by Joseph Strauss. Everything is right here underneath the syllabus tab. All right. You click on required reading list, you have your information there. Lessons. You have a total of 8 modules. Each module lasts for 2 weeks. All right. Inside of the module, you have all the information you will need, and it's required that you go through each of these in order to progress to the next module. And then you will have um, discussion questions, which you will have an attendance. Uh, uh, um, you have an attendance discussion that you must reply to. Uh, uh, um, that you must reply to make so that way I know for a fact that you are actually participating in class. You click on it and you acknowledge the fact that you are attending and you are thoroughly engaged in the music fundamentals class. As you can see, students have already gone and done that. Um, so to get started, module 1, instrumental music families. Let's look at what they are. You first have the string family, which consists of string instruments, violin, viola, cello, bass, and harp. Okay. Woodwinds family, which consists of flute, oboe, clarinet, and baritone, and bassoon. Brass, you have your trumpet, French horn, trombone, tuba, baritone horn, euphonium, and things of that nature. Percussion, xylophone, cymbals, piano. Now, there is a debate out there that talks about how piano can actually be looked at as a percussion instrument because technically there is a hammer that strikes in order to go ahead and bring about the tone. So that's a debate that you will probably hear as you go throughout your musical training. Clefs, staffs, and ledger lines. What is a staff? Most of us will look at what we see right here and we just go, okay, yeah, that's where you see the music. But we don't know the name of this is a staff. And the definition for this is the 5 lines and 4 spaces upon which music is written. I'll say it again. The 5 lines and 4 spaces upon which music is written. Each and every line and space represents a white key on the keyboard. And each one of those lines and spaces has a name. We'll get into that a little bit later. Clef. Clef is a symbol at the beginning of the staff that tells us the range of the notes in that particular staff. Again, staff, a clef, excuse me. Clef is the symbol at the beginning of the staff that tells us the range of the notes in that particular staff. So, for example, if you have a treble clef, right, and the treble clef starts on middle C, which is, and it tells us the notes in that staff range from here all the way up here. Now, mind you, the treble clef is the note that is the symbol that's on the left. The bass clef is the symbol that's on the right. It also starts on the middle C, but it tells us the notes that's in that staff range all the way down here. So those are two of the staffs, treble and bass clef. Now, treble clef also has a nickname. It's called the G clef. Why? Because if you see this little swirl right here, it swirls around the G line. And then as you go up the staff, you go forward in the musical alphabet. Well, what is the musical alphabet? The musical alphabet goes from the letter A to the letter G, and then it repeats again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so on and so on and so on. So when you go up the staff, you're going forward in the musical alphabet. You see when you get the G. So now, if we move up again, we don't have no more spaces, right? So it ran out. But if I go up again, there's this thing called a ledger line. Ledger lines are small lines that allow us to read the notes that are above and below the staff. So if I said we go up, as we go up the staff, we're going forward in the musical alphabet. The next note here is A. And then if we went up again, and there was another ledger line here, and this was a space, that note would be a B. Treble clef. Its nickname is the F clef. Why? Because this dot and these two circles surround the F line. Same thing when I said before when it comes to going up and down the staff. If you're going up the staff, you're going forward in the musical alphabet. If you're going down the staff, you are going backwards. Now, the reason why, now you have this thing called the grand staff. The grand staff is basically the two staffs that you see on the piano, encompassing both the left hand and the right hand of the piano. So treble clef, of course, will be on your top. Bass clef will be on your bottom. So treble clef would encompass the right hand, and the bass clef would encompass your left hand on the piano. And the things that separate them is middle C. That's why it's called middle C in the first place. Note identification. The thing that's very important, you have lines and spaces, right? Each of those lines and spaces have names, all right? Let me see. I'll just do it this way. So, right here, the lines and spaces for the treble clef are as follows. This is F, this is A, this is C, and that's E. What we say is face in the space. That helps us remember that this is F, A, C, E. Now, for the lines, every good boy does fine. This is the easiest way for you to remember the lines and spaces. Now, if you remember the lines and spaces, and you said faces in the space, F, A. So you know this is A here. What is this thing? That's an accidental. That's a sharp. So I'm gonna look down here. I got three different choices. I got A sharp, I got A, and I got A flat. It's obviously it got the sharp next to it, so I'm gonna say it's A sharp. It's that simple. Oh wow, look at this one. It's in a ledger line that's below the staff. What did we say? We said we're going down the staff, we're reading backwards, going backwards in the musical alphabet. So we know this is every good boy does fine. So this is E. So if we go backwards down to this space, what is that? That's a D. Then we go backwards down to this line. What comes before D? C. So that's how it don't got no sharp or it don't got no signs next to it. So I know this is a C natural. Very simple. Okay? So that's how you do that. Step identification. A half step is a semitone distance from one key to the next. So you will see from this white key up to this black key is what is called a semi-step or a half step. Now, a whole step will be a simple tone, right? It's two half steps make up two halves, make up one whole. So two half steps make up one whole step. So it would sound like this. Does that make sense? You got one half step from here to here, the second half step from there to there. Okay? Now, accidentals, as I was saying earlier, you have three of them technically. You have a sharp and you have a flat. Now, the sharp simply raises the tone one half step, whereas the flat lowers the tone one half step. So if I take the black key of C, right? If I raise it to C sharp, so this white key, excuse me, is C natural. If I raise it up to C sharp, now I've raised the pitch a half step. That's why it's called C sharp. But now, if I go over here to D, which is this one here, and I lower it a half step, that's called D flat. Yes, it's in the same space on the keyboard because, you know, if you go up from a note to the black key, that's, you go up one half step from the note, that will be considered a sharp. So from C up, it's C sharp, right? But if I go a half step down from D, it's not going to be called C sharp. It's going to be called D flat. But D flat and C sharp are technically the same notes, okay? Now, when you're talking about from E to F, it's a half step distance. So from F, if I write E sharp, excuse me, technically that's an F, right? But we will write E sharp. If I say F flat, technically that we will play E because there's no note in the middle, right? So that's the difference between that. It's called enharmonic spelling. Okay. Now you have this thing called a double flat and a double sharp. Simply means one sharp means to raise the note one half step. A double sharp means to raise the note two half steps. So you will go from C to C sharp to D. Okay. A flat means to lower a note one half step. So you will go from G to G flat. But if I double flat it, then I would go G, G flat down to F. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So, example, here we have a E double flat. So I go from the E to the E flat down to the D when I play it. Okay? Now, the third sign that I was telling you about, third accidental, is a natural sign. This sign right here cancels out everything else. So if I have sharps and whatever, once you see this, it brings it back to its natural state. Okay? Key signatures. It's a very simple way for you to understand key signatures. First thing you need to know is the order of the sharps and the order of the flats. So, if you look at the bottom of the screen, the order of sharps is F, C, G, D, A, E, B. Write that down. This is where it goes. Whenever I'm doing key signatures, the first thing I do is I write out the order of sharps, right? How do I figure it out? If you remember, the first sharp is F sharp, that's all you need. Why? Because all you got to do is count up 5 from there. 5 up from F is C, boom. 5 up from C is G, boom. 5 up from G is D. How do I know that? G, A, B, C, D. Boom, that's 5. D, E, F, G, A. Boom, that's 5. A, B, C, D, E. Boom, that's 5. B, D, B, C, D, E, F. Oh, wait a minute. It repeated. That's how you know you're completed with the number, with the order of flats, okay? Now, once you get your order of flats there, order of sharps, that's how you know you're completed with the order of sharps. Once you get your order of sharps there, it's written down. What you have to make sure that you memorize and you lock in your memory is so let's say, for example, here's a tricks to the sharps. I came up with this myself. Very simple. If you have the name of the key signature, say you have a test and I give you C sharp major. If I go a half step down from the name of the key, that gives me the last sharp in the order of sharps for that key. So, an example. This is, so I got to go back to my acronym, right? Face in the space. F-A-C is here. So if it's called C sharp, so I have to go a half step down from C sharp, which technically gives me B sharp. So this will be my last sharp in the order of sharps, right? So I write it down. I know B is the last one. Then all I got to do is go back to the beginning of the order of sharps and fill in the rest. F sharp. Boom. Okay, next is C. Put my C. Boom. Okay, next is G. Put my G. Notice I don't have them written on top of each other. You got spaces in between each one, right? Next is D. So okay, I put the D. Next is E. Okay, so I put the next is A, So next is A. I put the A. All right, cool. Got the A down there. Next is E. All right, cool. We got the E. And the last one we already wrote, which is B. Boom. That's all you have to do to figure that out. Now, if I'm doing if I have to do an order of flats, all you have to do is reverse that. So right underneath the order of sharps, I write order of flats, and then just write the order of sharps backwards. B, E, A, D, G, C, and F. Now, the trick to the order of flats is very simple. Let's say we're on a test, and we flat key signatures. Let's say this is the trick to the flat key signatures. So let's say, for example, we had a test, and I say, give me the key signature for G flat major. The trick to the flats is this: the name of the key signature is the second to last flat in that key. So what does that mean? So if I say G flat major, write it out. I'm gonna put my G flat in there. I know that's the second to last flat, right? So now all I have to do is follow the order of flats to fill everything else in. So I go to my G, I know that's second to last. I put in my last, C. So I write it there. Then I go back to the beginning and fill in the rest. Put my B is in there. My E is there. My A is there. My D is there. And then we already got the G and the C, right? Boom, and you're done. That's how easy it is to do key signatures. Here's a chart for you. This is the order of sharps and flats in each staff. Now, granted, there's several different ones, so you need to look up what are the name of the key signatures and be prepared, because when we have our test, you need to be able to go ahead and understand it. So, what is this? This is C major. C major is the one key signature you got to remember, because there's no sharps and no flats. Now, what is this? Now we got to reverse what I told you about the order of sharps, right? So here we go. We got 4 sharps. I know the last sharp is the name of the key, is a half step below the name of the key signature. So all I have to do is take this D sharp, go up a half step, and it gives me the answer. Half step up from D sharp is E. Okay, I put my E. That's the name. No sharps and no flats. C. Half step up from G sharp is A. Half step up from A sharp is what? Is B. Now, here's another thing that you got to remember. F natural has 1 flat, B flat. So this is the key signature for F major. Memorize that. All right. So, this being that, what you have to do from here on out, sir, ladies and gentlemen, is you have to review the multimedia that I put up here, listen to it, lock it in your brains, understand it, answer the discussion question for module 1, do your attendance for week 1, and your attendance for week 2. If you have any questions, please go ahead and please don't hesitate to email me and give me a call. I look forward to teaching you all this semester. Please have a blessed and wonderful day.